would just like to start off by saying and stating that the things that I'm about to talk about in this video, the things that I'm about to bring up and mention, have no impact on how I feel about whether or not the parent or the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, and Sebastian's mum had anything to do with his disappearance, because at the moment there's no evidence of anything. So there's no opinion to be had, because I'm not an expert on anything. I'm not a body language expert. I'm not a language expert. That's not my thing. That's not who I am. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So I'm going to try what a lot of people are doing on YouTube, a lot of true crime channels on YouTube. I'm going to try and do what they're doing, and that's just go on facts. However, there's some things that have come out recently that I do have an opinion on, and these things I'm going to talk about have no impact on whether or not I believe that the parents had anything to do with it or anything like that. My opinion on that is still the same, and that is I don't know, because there's no evidence to suggest anything, and until evidence comes out to suggest something, that's when my opinion on that may or may not change. Facts only when it comes to that type of thing. But like I said, there are things that have come out now that I now have an opinion on. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is this. I've wrote a few notes down here, so if it looks like I'm turning to my side and reading something, I am. I haven't done this in a long time. It's been a long time since I've wrote down notes or anything like that for a video. But I'm doing it now because I was listening to a few people on YouTube last night, and I thought, well, that's interesting. But I couldn't record the video last night, so I wrote down notes for today. And one of them is this. We've gone from being told that Sebastian is the type of kid that doesn't go outside without anything on his feet. He doesn't like going out without his shoes on because of something that he went through when he was younger, right? That's typical for most kids on the autistic spectrum because it's something to do with the texture and the feel of the ground beneath the feet. However, some autistic kids really love that. And they do go out without stuff on the feet, without shoes on and stuff like that, because they want to feel that beneath the feet. The other side of the spectrum is totally opposite to that. They don't go out without things on their feet because they hate the feel of the ground and the grass and everything beneath them. So we've gone from Sebastian not doing that because he doesn't like going out without shoes on to, and I'm reading here, we've gone from that to he sometimes goes out with his socks on, and when that happens, his mum has to tell him and remind him to come back in and put his shoes on. So we've gone from him not liking to going out at all without his shoes on to sometimes he goes out with just his socks on and his mum has to remind him and tell him to put his shoes on. In my mind, that's just normal, especially for an autistic kid. I have nieces and nephews. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. And I have a few that are on the spectrum. And the ones that are not on the spectrum go out more without the shoes on than the ones on the spectrum. So, I think it's just a normal thing for kids on the spectrum and kids not on the spectrum. I just think it's a normal thing. Sometimes in the heat of the moment they don't think. They just go out, without nothing on the feet, and then they have to be reminded by a parent to put the shoes on. That's just a parent being a parent, right? But we've gone from him not being told specifically that he doesn't like going out without his shoes on to sometimes he goes out without his shoes on, but just his socks, right? And his mum has to remind him to put his shoes on. But everything, as time goes by, little things, these little tiny details that some people may think means nothing, are now changing, because now it's highly possible that he could have left the house. I think he obviously left the house by himself. That's what I think. And if somebody's taken him beyond that point, then that's what's happened. I don't know beyond that point. What we do know is, or what we highly suspect is, that he left the house by himself. But people kept on saying, well, that's not possible because he doesn't go out without his shoes on. Well, now we know that he actually does sometimes. So that's changed. It's another little minute detail that at first didn't mean anything, but now all of a sudden does because it's changed. And then there's this. Now all of a sudden, and I'm reading again from my notes, the clothes that he went out in, or they suspect he went out in, have now changed. It's not the all black thing anymore. The stuff that he wore for bed and everything that we were told that he left the house in. I can't remember exactly. What the video that I watched last night told us what they now think he left the house in. And it's totally different to what we were first told he left the house in. So, like, how wouldn't you know that? Because, like, wouldn't the clothes be there? Have you not checked that? Why were we told one thing and now being told another? Now only now being told another thing, right? Because there's a lot of people that look at those details. What if somebody's seen him out there and they've thought, oh, well, he's not wearing the things that we were told he was wearing when he left? Oh, that's not him then. That seems impossible, right? Because Sebastian's face and everything is very distinctive. Glasses, his eyes, everything. You know, when you see him, right? Not everybody. There's some people in his local area that are only just finding out that the lad's missing, right? So not everybody. So those little details, they matter. They matter. They really, really matter. You might not think they do, but they do. And now a little bit's changing here and there, and it's getting mixed up in everybody's head. What if somebody's seen the kid, but because they saw him wearing something that they weren't told about, and so because of that, they've gone, well, that can't be him. He's not wearing so-and-so. He's not wearing this. He's not wearing that. We were told he was wearing this, but that lad's wearing something different. Those details matter. What if somebody's seen him and just let it off, let it go, because I thought it wasn't him, because he was wearing the wrong top, or the wrong pants, or the lad had fucking shoes on, or he didn't have shoes on. Now we're on to a serious matter, something that's really bothering me, something that is bothering me on different levels. The first level is Chris Proudfoot and him admitting to taking a belt to Sebastian. And then on the other level is how people on YouTube, specifically true crime channels, are addressing this. They're not addressing it how it is. Nobody's saying it how it is, or how they should be saying it. And this is how you should be saying it. This is how you should be talking about it. Putting your hands on or using something to strike a child with, whether it's a belt, your own hands, or something else, if you strike a child, that is nothing other than child abuse. If you hold an opinion that in some way excuses that, like, say, for instance, oh, well, you don't know what it's like, Matthew, that's me. You don't know what it's like, Matthew, to have kids. You don't have kids. No, I don't care. I don't care about your opinions. If your opinion is anything other than hitting a child, is child abuse. Especially an autistic boy. Especially a 15-year-old autistic boy. You strike a child for any reason, that's child abuse. And to these YouTube channels, these so-called true crime channels that care about the truth and justice, why are you not calling this out for what it is? The dude admitted to taking a belt to Sebastian. A child, but also an autistic child. A child that's not even his. Not that makes a difference. And nobody's calling it out for what it is. Everybody's pussyfooting around this subject. Not calling him out for what it is. Not calling him out for what he is. And that's a bully. Now, I'm not saying he had anything to do with his disappearance. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that he's a bully. He's a control freak. He's a narcissist who doesn't like to be challenged. And when this 15-year-old boy got in his face, he had to take that belt to him. Big man Chris Proudfoot. Oh, I can't have my authority in this house challenged. I'm the man in this house. I've got to strike this autistic child now to assert my dominance. It is what it is. If you make excuses for this or are not calling it out for what it is, then you're a piece of shit, along with Chris Proudfoot, the original piece of shit. And for those that don't understand what I've just said, because obviously I bleeped those words out, I called him a sugar honey iced tea, And anybody that makes up any kind of excuse or doesn't call this out for what it is also a piece of sugar, honey, iced tea. Figure it out. The clues are there. For channels out there on YouTube that claim to care about the truth and justice, especially for Sebastian, where's the truth and justice? Why are you not calling him out for striking this child? Why? Why are you not calling this out for what it is? You hit a child, you're striking a child. Chris, would you do that to a fully grown man? Would you do that? I don't know, to his real dad? No. Do you know why? Because men like you don't. Men like you are afraid, are scared of other men that are capable of fighting back. That 5'5", skinny, little autistic boy got in your face, did he? Made you angry, did he? To the point where you felt you had to assert your dominance and teach him a lesson. I'm the leader of this pack. I control this house. You're getting the belt. Piece of I don't care what anybody thinks. You put your hands on a child, you're a piece of and that's child abuse. Simple as. There's no getting around it. There's no argument to defend it. If you try to make up excuses, or well, he was misbehaving, or you don't know how bad it's, I don't care. I don't care how bad it gets. You strike a child, you are a piece of simple as. That's how it is. Don't make up excuses for it. Don't try and condemn me for the way that I'm talking about him, like it's not the truth. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that he would actually do anything, that anybody would actually do anything like that. But I'm actually more shocked that nobody on YouTube is calling him out for what it is. And I get it, there'll be some channels out there that want to stay away from the drama. They want to keep their heads out of that type of thing and just stick to facts. Well, this is fact because he admitted it. And the fact is also that if you do that, you are abusing a child. Simple as, isn't it? And if Sebastian's mum knew this was happening and allowed it, she's also a piece of I don't care. I don't care. If you do it or you allow it, you're a piece of How could you allow somebody to strike your autistic boy? Call it out for what it is. Call it out for what it is. Big hard man, big bad Chris Proudfoot. This 15-year-old autistic child. He stood up against me. He stood up against my authority. He tested me. So now I have to strike him with a belt. I'm big-eyed Chris Proudfoot. Big hard man. Oh, I went off there. But it's something I feel obviously strong about, right? And I don't understand why other people don't. I don't understand why other people don't. If you agreed with what I said, I don't see why you wouldn't. On this, usually, in my videos, I'd expect people to have their own opinions. But when it comes to this subject, I'm calling you all out. If you don't have the same opinion as me, you are in the wrong. Simple as. You strike a child, it's child abuse, and you are a piece of If you don't hold that opinion, you're wrong. Simple as. But tell me, nonetheless, what you thought about what I said. What you think about Chris Proudfoot. Tell me what you think's happened here. Tell me in the comments below. And if you would like to hear more of me, more of my opinions and what's going on, hit subscribe. You don't have to, but it would be awesome and it'd help me out quite a lot. And I'll speak to you all again next time. Bye-bye.